And welcome back to the Factor Uncensored. Thank you for joining us for the second half hour. There's a lot of questions about what's going on at the Godly Independent School District near Dallas, Texas. An educator has been let go after it's been revealed she also worked as an escort and has previously been convicted of prostitution. Ashley Ketcherside reportedly goes by Lola Bray on a website for escorting. Until recently, she played a role in helping decide the sexual education curriculum in the school district. We must note people paying for escort company in Texas is totally legal, but selling sex is not. Parents in that school district are concerned about how Ketcherside was able to pass that background check. Joining me now to talk about it, parent Demetrius Walker and kinkologist Lady McCallan. So first of all, Mr. Walker, as a parent seeing this, would you be upset with the school district that somehow she made it into the school system?
Definitely not. If anything, the only thing this young lady is guilty of is being overqualified for the job. You know, Isaiah, if I had the option between my son being taught astronomy by an astronaut who went to outer space versus the typical sixth grade teacher, I'm going to choose the astronaut. And this woman has plenty of experience in the sex industry. I think she's more than qualified enough to teach a class about sex education. And in addition, she's been a model citizen. She's on a PTA, you know, she teaches a cheer squad. So, you know, nobody was messing with this lady until somebody invaded her privacy and looked into her background. And so I think the only crime
Well, you say invaded her privacy, looked into her background. As an educator, you would expect that though, right?
Well, yeah. Well, you know, obviously none of this stuff came up until somebody went snooping a little bit further than is typical.
Yeah, somebody had to have already known, okay? They just kind of were like, this is her past, why are we, just leave it in the past, right? There's absolutely nothing wrong with this. As long as she's not doing anything with children sexually, like why is this anybody's business? Why is anything that she's doing anyone's business as long as she's doing her job the way that her job is set up? Now, everybody in Texas is so uptight about sex work. I think sex work should be illegal, legal everywhere. Now, the fact of the matter is that abstinence-only stuff is only hurting children, right? The best way for kids to learn about sex would actually be from a professional freak. I mean, let's just be real about this. So abstinence only when they don't teach them extensive sex ed.
I would say a professional freak.
Yes.
With limits?
Okay,
with limitations
yes,
on
obviously.
what you give to the young people
so
in the beginning.
My kid went through extensive, I was telling him earlier, extensive sex education when he was 13. Like, he learned everything, okay? Now, when we teach kids...
Where did he go? I mean,
it's called OWL. It's a program called OWL. It's Our Whole Lives. Okay, they teach you everything. Like, all about sex, all about consent, all about straight sex, gay sex, everything. Now, what it does, when you inform your children about the options of sex, there is less teen pregnancy, there's less teen STDs, there's less teen sexual assault. There's so much involved in hiding sex from our kids that traumatizes them, that shames them. They need to be able to talk about this, even when they're like early enough to know that not being touched is what they should be allowed to do. Like, even hugs shouldn't be allowed in certain ages. But we don't talk about it, especially in Texas, because we're so scared and shocked about sex. I don't think she did anything wrong. She wasn't doing she was never arrested for anything involving kids, so why is it anyone's business? What two consenting adults do in a bedroom, in a hotel room, I don't care. It's not our business. She was doing her job, right? No one ever complained about what she was doing. There's not a single complaint about her actual job. This is a complaint about her past. So why are we even talking about this? Let the woman do her job and leave her alone.
And do you see it the same way, Demetrius, that her past is in her past? What if the kids find out she's into prostitution? What if they get curious about that and they want to get into that as well?
Well, who better to hear about it from than someone who was in the industry, who can tell them, you know, the dangers.
You've been brainwashed by Lady McCallan before you brought your ass up here.
Do you want to know most of my friends that are strippers or escorts, most of them had traumatizing childhoods where they were shamed for their sexual activity. Now, I have stripper friends who actually were like brought up the way that I'm talking about, where they were embracing their bodies. and they don't do drugs, they don't drink, they do this as a job. I'm not saying that most women that are strippers are traumatized. I'm saying that when you take children and you shame them for sex, they make bad sexual choices. Okay, when you give them informed consent about what it is, that you could sell your body, that you don't have to sell your body, but if you do it safely. If you want to do this, do it safely, do it consensually. If we give the children the options, it's better than just throwing them out there and letting them just get scared and shocked and hurt and traumatized by adults that know better, but the kids were never told.
In the last 30 seconds, you feel like the more you know for a child or a student, the better they're prepared in life.
Most definitely, and I also want to point out, I think the real crime here is that our teachers in Texas are underpaid.
Yep.
And so that leads to teachers having to open up to possibilities of earning income in other ways. And I think that's a real crime.
Why do you think she needs that other job? Because she's not making money with the Texas School Board.
Got it. Good point. Thank you guys for joining us here on The Factor.